You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. Welcome back to episode 70 of the Primal Armor Podcast. Today we're going to be covering one of my favorite and most passionate topics that there is out there, which is exercise and weightlifting for children. And this is probably one of the most controversial topics that there is in the fitness industry, with so many people saying that it's unsafe for your children to be exercising or weightlifting. First, we need to focus on just exercise in general. It can be hard to convince a kid that exercise is fun, or that they should or want to do it on their own. But kids are doing this on their own as they grow up, without even knowing it. Even as young as just a few months old, they're doing push-ups to help themselves crawl. They're doing squats to play with their toys. It's just because they're natural movements, and they aren't dangerous for them to be doing. Then they're always running around. They're playing tag. They're playing on the monkey bars. They're climbing things. And these are all things people do for exercise. Just look at Spartan races. Look at American Ninja Warrior. And kids do these things from day one on the playground. And people have kids starting gymnastics at such a young age. But since it's not in the weight room, they deem that fine. But these movements put loads on the joints and mimic a lot of movements that we do in the gym. But no one complains about it because it's a playful sport at that age. It's not until they actually load weight onto a bar or do a gym-specific movement where people start freaking out and think it's going to stunt their growth or injure their children. But getting kids in the weight room early can actually be one of the most beneficial things that you can do for them growing up, and especially if you're going to have them playing sports. Because injuries happen way too often due to improper training and imbalances. And teaching them early can help create those patterns and habits that they can carry throughout their entire lives. Because it's so hard to break habits when they learn the wrong things early and never learn right in the first place. Because that becomes a habit, and it's hard to break habits because that's what everyone tries to revert back to. The people who are critics of kids weightlifting are usually ones that have zero education in the field, and they have no business being in the weight rooms for themselves. So who are they to judge? They can't even do the movements themselves, so of course they don't think a kid can. But weightlifting can be one of the most beneficial things that you can teach your child from a young age. If it was truly dangerous, highly reputable fitness brands would not be making children's barbells. Most people argue that it's dangerous and act like a children lifting weights will hurt them. But like I said earlier, most people don't know how to actually do these movements properly themselves. So of course they can't even teach the kid. You have to have a lot of patience to work with a kid. And if you're not teaching them the correct form and trying to load weight on them, it is dangerous. But think about it. The max capacity of these children's bars that we were just talking about, it's about 50 pounds. And that is a load on the body. But what do they do when they climb the monkey bars and crawl around on the ground and climb over furniture and obstacles? They're pushing around their body weight, which is usually about 50 pounds. So doing weightlifting movements with this equipment, with the right form, isn't dangerous. But that's the thing. You have to make sure that they're doing it with the proper form, or you're not doing anything for them. It's only beneficial when you're instilling good habits in them now, which in return can help them prevent injuries later in life, both in sports or just anything that they could be doing in life. And now that's not dangerous. That's injury prevention from an early age. Because kids don't need to be doing heavy weights for strength. They need to be doing weightlifting for technique purposes, so they can keep their flexibility and range of motion, and so they can learn good habits to be in the right positions at the right times. Too many people become sedentary for years and can't reach a full deep squat anymore, or try something like an Olympic lift, such as a clean or a snatch, and they can't get into the position because they lack the mobility. If we keep kids being mobile and work on their technique under light loads, they'll never have these problems in their entire life. Kids' bone structures and their skeletons are still developing and growing. So it's not smart to be loading heavy weights on their growing bodies. And this is why people argue that it's not safe and it can stunt their growth. Because that part is true. But if we aren't doing things properly and we aren't being smart with training, then it's unsafe. But the same thing goes for me and you. If we load too heavy a weight on a lift and we don't have proper technique, then we can get hurt too. But that doesn't mean exercise is dangerous. That means our ignorance is dangerous. If we become properly trained ourselves, then we can properly train our kids in the same manner. Where this gets a bad rap is most people who try to get their kids lifting weights at a young age are usually the dads who are still living in their high school sports past and have shit technique, but they can bench 300 pounds or 400 pounds, so they instantly think that they're a strength and conditioning coach. And if you don't know what you're doing, anything can be dangerous. Driving, construction, farming, literally anything in the world can be dangerous if you aren't properly informed on how to do things right. But that doesn't mean that the specific thing is dangerous in and of itself. It just means that the people who are teaching that don't know what they're doing and they're putting people in bad situations. It actually has a crazy amount of benefits if you do it right. You can create healthy habits from an early age and ones that instill the need for fitness for their entire life. It ends up creating a strong base to eventually build strength and prevent injuries. You build muscles in their bodies so they can take falls and roughhouse outside with fewer injuries, which is huge because we all know that there's no slowing down a kid. If you're someone who thinks weightlifting for a kid is dangerous, then maybe you need to just look in the mirror and reevaluate your own technique in your training regimen. Because the earlier you can instill good habits and a healthy lifestyle in a child's life, the better. So make sure that you know yourself the proper form and the proper technique so you can make a huge difference in your kid's life. Because that's the thing about this topic. We're not training kids to be the best ultimate athletes at the world at this age. We aren't training for championships. We aren't training for trophies. We're training to promote a healthy lifestyle from an early age. And there's way too many cases of childhood obesity these days. So we need to be getting our kids in the weight room as early as possible. And even if you can't afford to buy kid-specific equipment, like a bar or a squat rack from Rogue, bodyweight exercises will plenty suffice. And if you can get them on the playground to play in the monkey bars or play on those tire obstacles, that counts too. Just anything we could be doing to get our kids off the couch and get exercising. If you don't know what you're doing in the gym, take the time to learn. Let them do the things on the playground and still exercise. Once you know what you're doing, you can finally get them in the weight room and teach them right and teach them the habits that they need to be doing and learning for sports and everything else in life. Because a squat, a deadlift, we do all those things while moving furniture, sitting down. So these are things that they're going to use for the rest of their lives. And if they learn bad habits early, then of course it's dangerous. But it won't be dangerous if you yourself know what you're doing to teach the kid. So remember, weightlifting isn't dangerous for kids. It's our egos and our ignorance that make it dangerous.
Hey, we're Garage Gym Outfitters, your new go-to for garage gym equipment. We simplify the process of creating and improving your home gym by giving you the ability to compare, review, and purchase home gym equipment from high-quality American brands all in one place. Garage Gym Outfitters is a military-owned company founded by 3 Navy members that want to provide customers with a seamless experience to build out their home gym. We found the process of starting our own home gyms to be a complex maze of comparing different brands' value and quality, so we created Garage Gym Outfitters to solve this problem for you. Check us out today at thegaragegymoutfitters.com to find your new favorite products from American-based brands.
I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.